Is the camera rolling? I know. Is this another SNNC? Another Super Nintendo News Cafe video? We best believe that it is. We have a lot to talk about when it comes to the Nintendo sphere, just news in general. And a lot of this video is actually not going to be about Nintendo products, because in a lot of my other, SNNCs, I used to always talk about like, hey, here's a new game that's coming out, here's another new game that's coming out, here's another new product that's coming out. And we do have like one or two, I believe, that are going to be sprinkled inside this video. But for the most part, we are only talking about like a bunch of speculation, a bunch of other news stuff. There is a lot that has been going around, so you know what? Let's just dive on into it. Now, for the first thing, this actually comes from comicbook.com, which is actually talking about potential leaks for Super Smash Bros. For the Switch 2. I do personally believe that there's going to be another Smash Bros. Game. It wouldn't make sense if there wasn't another new Smash Bros. Game. We know that Sakurai has been working on another project for 2 years. We have no idea what it is. There has been no hints, nothing from him on his end. He's like, I literally can't say anything about this new project. But, it could be a new Smash. Maybe they'll just stick with Ultimate since the Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible. But what this article is actually talking about is leaked characters and changes to the next version of Smash Bros. It is claiming that the next Smash Bros. Game for Switch 2 is actually going to have the exact same roster that Ultimate has, plus some new additions for characters, which I don't really know how I feel about that. I know what Sakurai wants is like, he's like, oh my gosh, this was so hard to get all these characters to come back and all the new characters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But then again, Nintendo is Nintendo. The Switch has been doing very well, so they probably were easily able to like potentially convince, people that they've been collaborating with to be like, hey, can we just like have all the characters back for the new Smash Bros. Game? Like, please let us have it. But the main thing that caught my eye, and the only reason why I want to talk about this alleged leak, let me use the word alleged. I need to always use that word. I used the word alleged when the Switch 2 leaks are coming out, and then the Switch 2 leaks actually happen to be real. So maybe this could be another situation where that happens, but for right now, I'm only going to call these leaks alleged. So in Smash Bros. Ultimate, there's about over 100 stages inside the game. I want to say it's about like 120, 130, not counting custom stages, of course. And this leak says that the stages are actually going to get cut in half to about 50 or 55, probably so they can spend more resources in other parts of the game. It also gives us a couple of leaked characters too. It says here, characters that are going to be added into the next Smash Bros. Game is going to be Waluigi, which of course, everybody's been talking about Waluigi in Smash Bros. Ever since like, I don't know, maybe Melee or Brawl. I know it's been a very long time and everybody's like, where is Waluigi? We got Mario, we got Luigi, we got Wario, but we got no Waluigi. Rosalina got in before Waluigi. They also say here that Toon Zelda is going to be in the game, and the main reason why I wanted to talk about this is because Toon Zelda is actually part of the Forbidden 7. If you don't know what the Forbidden 7 is, it was like 7 cut characters, or 7 characters that were going to be in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, but ended up getting cut. I believe it was like Toon, Zelda / Sheik. So when I saw this leak, I was like, oh my gosh, Toon Zelda? Oh my gosh, a member of the Forbidden 7 coming back. We also have Noah and Mio from Xenoblade Chronicles, Armor Edge and Celery Edge. I don't really know how to say that, I'm not gonna lie. From Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. We have Soul Bad Guy from Guilty Gear, which I think would be a very good pick since, more fighting game reps in the actual, biggest fighting game that there's ever been of all time, I think is good. Since Smash Bros. Lost the title of like the biggest gaming crossover ever, yeah, I think it's really, really nice if Nintendo focused more so on their first party IPs over, all these third party IPs. But if we are gonna get some third party, IPs, I think more fighting games is going to be really, really good. And if we got like an anime fight or something like that with, all those high, super flashy combos, I think that'd be super sick. And of course, for the last one on this list, we have a character that I wanted in Smash for a very long time, and that is going to be Paper Mario as a DLC, similar to Piranha Plant. Of course, if you pre-order the game, then you get Paper Mario early as some nice good old DLC. And I want Paper Mario in Smash so bad. So this leak better not, I'm talking, they better not mess with me, all right? I've been waiting for Paper Mario for so long. So if this leak is like, hey, we're getting Paper Mario, and they pull on my heartstrings and we don't get Paper Mario in the next Smash game, I'm gonna riot. I'm gonna riot on this channel. I'm going to scream at my camera into the void for 30 minutes. There's gonna be a 30-minute rant if Paper Mario is not in Smash, all right? If the Paper Mario is not in the next Smash game, 30-minute rant on the channel, all right? And I'll link it back to this video and be like, hey, I said it here, that's your upload for this week, all right? Well, I upload twice a week, but still, you know what I'm saying. Let's now move on to some Pokemon, because the Pokemon community has been going up in flames. I mean, some is good, some is bad, some's in the middle. It really all comes down to your interpretation of everything that's going on. First, I wanted to touch base on the Prismatic Evolution set. If you are somebody who's into the Pokemon TCG, as you know, Pokemon Prismatic Evolutions was one of the most hyped up sets in Pokemon history, and everybody's trying to get their hands on a Pokemon Prismatic Evolutions, booster box or just cards in general, but they're being scalped all over the internet. So if you have not been able to get your hands on it, that is why. Scalpers are ruining the fun for everybody, but don't you worry. In this month of February 2025, actually Pokemon, the TCG company, said that they were going to be focusing a lot on making sure that they are, ramping up the production of these cards so everybody can get their hands on them. Now, moving on to Pokemon Home, we have a tweet from Pokemon on Twitter. Of course, it says here, receive special Pokemon as mystery gifts for completing specific Pokedexes in the mobile device version of Pokemon Home. Grab Shiny Enamorus for completing the Hisui Pokedex and Shiny Manaphy for completing the Sinnoh Dex. And there was actually something funny that happened. Pokemon on their actual Twitter, they were actually showing off the Shiny Enamorus, but the Pokeball that they used was actually an Ultra Ball, which, you can't actually have a Shiny Enamorus in, since this is a event, and this is the only way you can, legitimately obtain a Shiny Enamorus. And everybody's like, hey, by the way, that Pokeball you used, you can't do that. And then they soon deleted the tweet after, which is so funny. And everybody's like, why is this such a big deal? It's because, you know Nintendo, the Pokemon company. You're like, hey, don't be hacking our games. Don't be using, illegal modifications in our games. Don't be doing that kind of stuff. But then they did it themselves and everybody caught them. So if you are a Pokemon collector and you want to get a Shiny Enamorus, now is your time, because it is, the first time this thing has ever been legitimately obtainable for everybody to have. And I really don't know how to say this, but the Pokemon or Game Freak, they decided that they were going to make a life-size version, a life-size plush version of Gardevior for people to purchase. I don't know when this thing's coming out. I'm not giving out any more information because I know people online are going to be weird about this. So you figure it out yourself online. A life-size Gardevior plush coming out. I'm not gonna tell you when. I'm not gonna tell you how much it's gonna cost. But in all seriousness, a life-size Gardevior plush is going to be sold online in Japan. I believe that there are plans for this thing to be sold internationally, but there actually is no release date for this thing at all, and there is no price for people all over the world yet. But the Japanese price, of course, is going to be 49,000 yen, which is about $300. So maybe this thing gets imported to America. It's going to be a little bit, maybe like $80 more. Maybe they'll make it a nice sold 400 for everybody to have. Very interesting to make a life-size plush version of. Just saying, it's out there. So if you see, the Pokemon community has one joke, and it is not going to go away anytime soon. Now, we have a little bit more information about the Nintendo Direct that is going to be happening. Of course, if you guys saw my reaction to the Switch 2, which was extra early in the morning, and I was super sleep deprived. Well, I wasn't even sleep deprived. I was going to say I was sleep deprived. No, I was just waking up normally, and then I had to go to work like right after, but I still got that video out for you guys, so oh my gosh, weirdest reaction that I've ever done, ever. I wish they did it at a normal time during the day. Well, bad news for literally everybody, because the Nintendo Direct for April 2nd is actually going to have a very, very early starting time. In this tweet from Nintendo America, it says here, join us on April 2nd at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 a.m. at Eastern Standard Time. Hashtag Nintendo Direct, Nintendo Switch 2 for April 2nd, 2025, where we will share a closer look at Nintendo Switch 2. Now, this actually does not confirm anything. We don't know if it's just going to be hardware, software, or games. This could maybe be like, the original Switch presentation where they showed off, here's our new system, and, here's a brand new game like they kind of did with Breath of the Wild, but they still showed off, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which was getting ported. I don't know if it's going to be like that, where it's just like, here's the hardware, and then maybe here's 2 games, or if this is going to be a full blown out Nintendo Direct, maybe like an hour long, or maybe a breakdown or deep dive of the system and mechanics of the thing. But either way, I'm going to be hyped for this thing. I don't care. I'm going to be reacting to it and uploading a video. I'm gonna have to get up at 5 a.m. to record my reaction since I'm on the West Coast. It's gonna start at 6 a.m., which means I'm gonna have to be up at 5 a.m. preparing for my video, making sure I don't look all tired, and then, screaming at 6 a.m. Depending on what they reveal. My neighbors are gonna hate me. I might get evicted. Who knows? It's Nintendo. It's all worth it. Celebration time. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. You want to know why I'm happy? Because Nintendo lost a lawsuit. If you guys have been here for a while, you saw my video about Power World and everything that went down over there. And I said that, you know, Nintendo doesn't lose lawsuits. I can actually put the clip right here. It's so stupid. It's so dumb, but they're gonna probably get away with it. Of course they're gonna get away with it. Nintendo doesn't lose lawsuits. And I guess I was wrong because Nintendo lost a lawsuit in 2025 and I genuinely could not be happier because sometimes Nintendo genuinely does go on a power trip, and if you are a Nintendo fan that, you know, defends all these lawsuits that they are doing when they aren't, you know, when they aren't like morally sound or good or anything like that, it's just insane. I'm happy when Nintendo loses lawsuits, especially if they're for dumb reasons. Even me, myself, being a Nintendo fan, I mean, look at my entire setup. Everything I have is literally about Nintendo. Like I said back then with Power World, a Nintendo that gets humble is a better Nintendo for all of us, including themselves, all right? And I stand by that, and I will always stand by that. So you may be asking, Super Cafe, what is this lawsuit even about? Well, Nintendo actually decided that they wanted to sue a grocery store in Costa Rica. A grocery store in Costa Rica named Super Mario. And they were like, hey, what if we sued that? And then guess what? Nintendo actually lost that lawsuit. Let's dive on into this. This is actually going to be the final segment of the video, but I hope you guys lock in because this is actually very, very interesting. And before I start reading this, if I butcher anything, this is all translated into English because I don't know Spanish. I only know English. I only know one language. So if I butcher anything, that is why. But as the owner said on here, I think he said like, hello, I'm very happy because we won a trademark registration process for Costa Rica against a well-known international video game brand. As you know, we've been calling ourselves Super Mario for many years, and that name coincides with one of the most famous brands in the world. When I finished university in 2013, I set out to give the business a corporate image and register the name for the grocery store category. At the time it was achieved, however last year it was time for the renewal. And guess what? As we were made known through social media, the multinational jumped up and claimed that Super Mario belongs to them globally. I'm immensely grateful to my legal and advisor, Josue Eduardo Jimenez Blanco, who took care of the registration and the subsequent fight for the trademark rights. For a moment, we thought about throwing in the towel. How are we going to win against such a commercial monster? Especially with the amount of legal documents they submitted to ensure their victory. Well, fortunately, Edgardo and I stood firm. And just a few days ago, we received the good news. This is a giant step towards the vision we have. For such a large company to get picky, it's because we're making ourselves noticed. Super Mario is here to stay. You can contact Edgardo at the Costa Rican Chamber of Investors. That institution has helped us in many aspects of our growth process. P.S. Those who don't come to buy Motose drink, San Pedro sausage, or Maria's Melchoas will find hair on their hand. And honestly, I could not be happier for this company at all. Apparently, Super is just like a very common name in general for a supermarket, and then Mario just being a common name in Costa Rica or just being a common name in other parts of the world. Like, I don't think Nintendo really realizes that Mario is a very popular name in other parts of the world. You go to Italy, you're gonna find some Marios, all right? You're gonna go to America, you're gonna find some Marios. You're gonna go to Costa Rica, apparently, you're gonna find more Marios. They don't own the name Mario. Mario isn't even Japanese, all right? It's not even Japanese. Like, what, you're gonna trademark peach next? You're gonna trademark mushrooms? You're gonna trademark fungus? You're gonna trademark my brick walls next? Cause they're bricks. Like, come on, Nintendo. These like, I genuinely could not be happier that Nintendo like actually filed this lawsuit. I can't believe that they actually lost one in 2025 because last year I had no hope. I didn't think that any company could actually beat Nintendo when it came to a lawsuit. But I am happy that now in modern day that I was proven wrong. I'm very happy that I was actually proven wrong. Shout outs to the Super Mario grocery market or supermarket in Costa Rica. I hope they have a very successful and good future with their company and brand. I feel so happy for them. Also, I want to talk a little bit about something for this whole entire lawsuit that I saw on Reddit actually, and it says here the reason why Nintendo lost this lawsuit is because it says here, and I quote, Nintendo of America sued him from copyright infringement, but this dude won the lawsuit due to the fact that Nintendo is trademarked in classes 9, 18, 25, and 28, which are for clothes, games, and accessories. The owner of the shop claimed that he registered the Super Mario trademark in Costa Rica under class 35, which in local and international law indicates that it sells basic groceries and Nintendo's trademark classes do not cover them. And then he even had a video about it and everything over on Instagram as well. Well, I think that's going to be it for today's episode. There was a lot of good topics to talk about, and I really want to know your guys' thoughts and comments down below. Are you somebody who's in the Pokemon scene where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't get any Pokemon cards? Or maybe you're getting scalped, or maybe you did get your hands on some prismatic cards. Did you think that the Smash Brothers stuff was really interesting? Are there any characters that you want in Smash? Do you hope that some of those allegedly characters actually don't get into Smash at all? And of course, with the whole lawsuit stuff, what do you think about that entire situation? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this installment of SNNC. That is your Super Nintendo News Cafe. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you didn't, don't leave a like. This has been Super Cafe, and I'll see you boys in the next one. Peace.